Back by popular demand, it is the baseball extravaganza onto the weekend. Welcome to the weekend. Nick Karski and Zensky here with you. Don't look so excited to be here, buddy.
See what happened last week?
How could you miss it?
Yeah, that's why we're doing a baseball show today and not talking about football as much.
Fair point. Well, welcome to the weekend. Before we get into it, subscribe wherever you're listening on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give us a like on social media. We got a fun show today. Matthew McCarthy will be joining us, our good friend from Ithaca College, and on a previous show to talk about all things baseball. So it'll be a fun time for sure. And yes, we are talking about baseball because unfortunately, the Bills had a great run, but they were done in by the powers that be in the NFL.
The powers that be, the Kansas City mother bleeping Chiefs.
Them too.
Go figure. It was just a terrible game. After the first touchdown, which came on a muffed punt and made the score 9-0, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is going to be a great day. This is going to be a great game. And then next thing you know, crash and burn, and it was just god-awful from start to finish. Okay, maybe not from start to finish, but for a bulk of the game, for close to 2.5 quarters of football, it was a dumpster fire for the Bills.
Yeah, and that's the rough thing. And like we were talking a couple weeks ago, like it's interesting if at least it's coming down to the end, it's like a nail biter, then your team loses. At least they were competitive. It's when they're not competitive for a good portion of the match, then you're like, well, this sucks.
It was, Josh Allen just didn't look himself. The defense had no answers for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And look, that's not to take anything away from them. I mean, the Chiefs are an unbelievably talented football team. From top to bottom, everything works for them in all three phases of the game. And that sounds so cliche, but it's so true. I mean, offensively, Patrick Mahomes is an absolute wizard out there. The Bills just couldn't keep up with Hardman and Hill out there in terms of wide receivers, or Travis Kelce for that matter. And the Bills' defense just struggled, and the offense struggled just as much, and there's no running game, and it was just not so much of a good game, and Sean McDermott put it perfectly. Look, we're in year number 4 of this whole process that he's trying to put the Bills through, and it's like year number 8 for the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Bills have a way to go. Hopefully they'll be back, but it just it sucks, to put it lightly.
Yeah. Well, and I told you, like, as your friend and as a sports fan of other teams, I could relate to when you get to that certain point and then you're just, they don't get the extra mile. So it's tough. There's always next season. I know that that only means so much right now because it's obviously a tough loss. But honestly, though, have you even thought about next season yet? About like the momentum that the team has going into it?
No.
Are they going to?
No. Just because with the idea of it being so close, you're just like, you try not to. I mean, yes, I probably should be saying, oh no, there's always next year, there's always next season, but no, I can't, because the Bills were so close this year, and as soon as Tom Brady won that game against the Pack, I'm thinking to myself, all right, that's the guy I want. I want to see the Bills be able to take him down in the Super Bowl when it matters the absolute most, because of what he's done to the Bills during his time in the AFC East, and they didn't get a chance to do that, and it just stunk it up. So.
All right, well, let's talk more about football when it gets into headlines here.
Here's what you missed.
So speaking of Tom Brady, he is facing off against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa Bay, Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Hell of a matchup it's going to be. And so here's been my question, though. How much of this is now a reflection on like Brady just being a great quarterback, and like how much is Bill Belichick just like stirring over in the corner because Brady's still going to the Super Bowl without his prized head coach?
Oh no, this is a product of Tom Brady being the best to ever do it. I mean, the fact that he has been to the Super Bowl as many times as he has, double-digit times, and he has a chance to win a 7th Super Bowl ring. I mean, it goes to show you that so much goes through him. And it's not to take away the team that is Tampa Bay, because they do have a very good veteran team. They've got a lot of skill sets. and they built a really good franchise around Tom Brady and Bruce Arians and all of those guys. I mean, just, I don't know, look at some of the guys that they have on the defensive side of the football, Ndamukong Suh and Jason Pierre-Paul. Like, those guys should be hypothetically washed up, but they're not. They're rejuvenating their career and having a great year. So you look very confused right now.
No, because you said Sue, and I was like, I haven't heard that name in like years. So
I mean, he hasn't been having like a banner year by any stretch of the imagination, but he's still playing some meaningful football, and he's still doing it right now. That goes to show you, like, there are guys who have seen their careers quote unquote rejuvenated because they are playing with Tom Brady, and because they're now playing for a Super Bowl. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And again, as a Bills fan, I would have loved to have seen the matchup of Brady versus the Bills. We're not going to see that, but we're going to see we're going to see a young star quarterback that everybody is already dubbing as the greatest of all time out there on the field.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you look at it from that perspective, two goats against, or one established goat and one up and coming goat.
Yeah, but here, let Mahomes do his thing. Let his story write itself. Let's not get to those storylines too early. It's going to be a great game. You've got the vet, you got the youngster. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. We'll break it down, I'm sure, week of Super Bowl a little bit more, but regardless, I'm still bitter.
Can't wait for the weekend's halftime performance. I actually can't wait for that. On to the next story. Do you still play video games?
I'll throw my hat into the Madden sphere every once in a while, or the MLB The Show sphere. No, I try to play once every couple of weeks, but I still have those games.
By 2021 standards, you're not a gamer. You're not on Twitch.
No.
You're not playing Call of Duty for 3 hours a night. That sort of thing.
Right, I'm not doing that.
So here's some news that came out today. GameStop is in the news, and this is the brand that for a while you thought was just going down the tubes because it's in-store retail. All of the games now are cloud-based. You buy them from Microsoft. You buy them from Sony. It's that subscription model that everything is. Nobody's going to a store to buy your PS2-looking case of games, right? However, they're in the news today about some stuff going on with Wall Street and hedge funds. And to be completely honest, neither Nick or I can make heads or tails of this story. So we're just going to link it below and see if you make sense of it. But apparently some weird stuff happened with the stock market in GameStop where like people started investing and then like the stock went up and now it's like it's all over the news.
The stock market. I don't watch that show. I don't watch that show.
You don't watch any of CNBC. So check it out if you want to hear what happened with GameStop and if you can make heads and tails of financial stuff. On a lighter
we sound
note,
like idiots, but anyway, yes.
We're not like billionaire hedge fund guys. What do you want? Facebook apologized for confusing a landmark name with an offensive term. It says here, Facebook has apologized after visitors to a popular seaside landmark in Britain found their post removed because the name of the location was confused for a misogynistic term. Members of Facebook groups based in Plymouth, England, said posts that mentioned the name of Plymouth Hoe were removed from the social media site, and some users found their accounts temporarily suspended on accusations for using offensive language. The name of the landmark comes from the Anglo-Saxon word hoe, H-O-E, which describes a sloping ridge shaped like an inverted foot and heel.
All right.
That's all I got.
What? What's the name of it again?
It is called Plymouth Hoe.
Plymouth Hoe. Okay. I don't know, man. I'm trying to contribute.
I see the wheels
here,
turning, but nothing's happening.
I got nothing. Like what do you do in that sort of situation? What do you do with with all of that. I mean, you just try to ingest it, or oh god, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't know. Let's move on. Move on, please.
Good Lord. Moving on to another thing that I don't know if you can make heads or tails of, but this has actually been in the news a decent amount. So in case you haven't heard about it, a geologist found a formation in a rock that looks just like Cookie Monster from Sesame Street. So it's a viral photo showing the inside of a rock that undeniably resembles Cookie Monster from Sesame Street. The discovery was apparently made by a geologist in Brazil who noticed that the formation looks just like the beloved Muppet. A video of the rock was posted onto Facebook by a man named Mike Bowers, who referred to it as an agate, a common formation consisting of quartz and other gemstones. And it really does look like Cookie Monster.
Yeah, it has a weird resemblance. Apparently Cookie Monster decided to tweet about it too, and I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm gonna have to look it up real quick to see exactly what Cookie Monster had to say about it, but if I'm not mistaken, they do have Twitter accounts for most of the Sesame Street characters and the Muppets. Yes, me Cookie Monster, at me Cookie Monster says, me no geologist, but me think that rock look a lot like me. It's got 92,000+ retweets and more than 500,000 likes, 632,000 likes, and this volcanic rock that was found in Brazil has an uncanny, undeniable resemblance to Cookie Monster.
Wow. I'm just trying to wrap my head around why members of the Sesame Street are on Twitter. Like, isn't your audience a little young to be on social media?
No.
Or are kids that young on Twitter now?
There are some good tweets from those characters that I'll see every once in a while from people, and people, like, they've got a big following. Like, let me see what Elmo has to say.
Big Bird and Elmo and Oscar the Grouch. And
these tweets from Elmo right now just are really, really boring. Like, Elmo misses you. Elmo hopes you have a great day. Like, nobody cares about that, all right? Like, Cookie Monster, that's apparently where it's at right now, because Cookie Monster has 492,000 followers on Twitter, and I've got like 20 some odd mutual friends, followers, if you will. Thanksgiving Day to eat and eat and eat and eat some more. Now that my kind of holiday. Like, people love that stuff. They eat that stuff up. No pun intended.
Who knew the Sesame Street characters were making it big on social media? Last story, and hate to end it on a sad note, but have to acknowledge the passing of a legend. Actually, two legends that passed recently. But first, Hank Aaron, one of the greatest hitters of all time, held, in my opinion, still holds the major league home run record of 755 home runs in a career. Atlanta Brave, I mean, you name it, just an all-around great baseball player. And Larry King passing away as well, unfortunately. Iconic broadcaster interviewed, so many people for years and years and years on his show on CNN. So they will be terribly missed for everything they brought to society and to entertainment. But, man, the Hank Aaron one got me in particular, because, like, as a baseball fan, that one hit you hard.
That, if I'm not I don't want to quote or take a guess and do some reckless speculation here, but I'm pretty sure it's close to double digits, if not a little bit more, Hall of Famers who have passed away within the last 10 months or within the last year. I mean, we're just losing these guys. And, the thing about Hank Aaron, it's not necessarily the stats that are just mind-blowingly good. Like, we're talking about a guy who, you take away his career home runs or even just slash him in half. I mean, the dude is a first ballot Hall of Famer, no question about it, with the number of hits he has and his slash line that he had. The other thing about him, though, obviously, is that he was somebody who was the face of African Americans playing the game of baseball. Like, we're talking about one of, if not the final member of the Negro League to sign with a Major League Baseball team. And, he was a civil rights guy. He essentially brought the game to people who were skilled and talented but didn't get enough, who didn't get that sort of prestige, if you will, as some white ball players. So what he meant to just the United States from a standpoint of being a true leader. I mean, it just went above and beyond the game of baseball, and some of the tributes that poured out to him because of that were just remarkable. Just reading and seeing some of them were tremendous.
Well, because it's something like you said, he represents something that is bigger than baseball, right? Mm-hmm. He represents racial equality and everything that was obviously so prominent and unfortunately is such a still big conversation about, I mean, it's good that it's the conversation, but it's unfortunate in some ways that we still need to have the conversation, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
To that point, like in terms of the praise that he was getting, like President Biden tweets about it, former President Obama tweets about it. So you're getting, presidents of the United States, like talking about how impactful he was, and whether or not they're baseball fans, they're just talking about, again, the impact that he had on civil rights and just how much of an icon he was in that regard. So he will be sorely missed. Again, 755 home runs over his career, all-time leading record. Whether or not that is official or unofficial, it's always going to be official in my book until somebody else comes along and breaks it.
Yeah, he had a hell of a career. Longevity was there, and like I said, it's kind of sad that we're starting to see a lot of these legendary names of the game just pass away and leave, unfortunately, just their legacy, and that's it. So
yeah, and it's a really somber note to kind of start off what is we're now slowly getting into the early morning, if you will, of baseball season, the pre-dawn hours of pitchers and catchers starting to report for spring training, just a matter of weeks. And like we said at the top of the show, we wanted to do something big to talk about baseball with all of this happening. And we thought, what better way to do it than with our good friend and all-around baseball guru, could we say? He's a baseball guru, right?
Matt McCarthy from 98.5 The Sports Hub is like the self-proclaimed soon-to-be commissioner of Major League Baseball. The guy knows what he's talking about. That's for damn sure.
You could say that again. Matt McCarthy, what's up, buddy?
I hope you guys can hear me because I did spend a lot of money on my ability to set up microphones at Ithaca College. And damned if I try to hook up this nice fancy microphone every single time to Zoom, and damned if it doesn't work every single time. So am I coming through okay?
You sound very clear, and that is very reminiscent of the WICB studio right there.
What do you got, some like CDs in the background and everything like that? Is that what that is? Or records in the background?
Yeah, actually, I've got a whole bunch of CDs in the background. I'm in the midst of kind of trying to move here, so like everything's all over the place. But yeah, I got the CDs in the background. A lot of Springsteen there. A lot of Springsteen
of course.
Because I'm a baseball guy.
Right.
Behind me, I've got David Ortiz. I've got Babe Ruth, Ted Williams over there. Big baseball guy,
All baseball legends. Right before we brought you on, Matt, we were just talking about. Thanks for being on, by the way. Happy to have you back. We were just talking about the unfortunate passing of Hank Aaron and just how much of a legend that he was, and obviously everything that he did, not just for baseball but for civil rights and everything. So, just a big loss for baseball before we get into the 2021 season.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about one of the great giants in the history of sport, I mean, Hank Aaron is right up there. Not only because he's the home run king, in my opinion and in the opinion of many, but the fact that he did it in the era that he did it in the Deep South in Atlanta. It's funny, I had never heard Vin Scully's call of his 715th home run. And, I had always heard the Braves call. I had never heard Vin Scully's call I didn't know Vin Scully was on the call. I should have put two and two together because I knew, Bill Buckner's the left fielder. And of course, we know him very well here in Boston. Bill Buckner was the left fielder. He was playing for the Dodgers. I never put Mr. Broadcasting over here. I never put two and two together that Vin Scully would have been on the call of that game. So, I went back and I listened to Vin Scully's call and people were posting it. And it was just perfect. And, talking about what he did, here he is, a black man in the Deep South in 1970s Georgia, and we think Georgia's changed now, but like 1970s Georgia, breaking the record, the most sacred record in American sports held by a mythical person in American sports and a white man in Babe Ruth. And it was just a perfect call. And, what a loss. I mean, baseball suffered a lot of losses over the last year or so, but none in many ways greater than Hank Aaron, because he was just one of those athletes that transcended sports. I mean, put him on the short list with like a Jackie Robinson, Jesse Owens. I was on with somebody this weekend who, rattled off all these names. And of course, I'm they don't come to mind right now, but like, we know what type of category he was in, Willie O'Ree in the NHL, like guys like that, who are true legends, Jim Brown, because, of the things that they did on the field, on the court, on the diamond, on the ice, but of also, with what they did off the field and, just the abuse the man endured, simply for the color of his skin, which is, as we all know, just the most vile, disgusting thing of all time, that people would hate on the man for the color of his skin. A true legend, a giant and a hero, things that we, terms that we throw around in sport a lot, but they all apply to Hank Aaron, man, in a way that they don't apply to most.
It's kind of scary. We've lost so many, not scary, but it's just sad that we've lost so many tremendous Hall of Famers over the last calendar year. And, speaking of the Hall of Fame, McCarthy, we naturally need to find out what your thoughts are on absolutely nobody getting inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame class of 2021. And then Curt Schilling going on his tirade on Facebook saying he no longer wants to be on the ballot in his final year. I mean, what the hell is going on, man?
Of course he does.
I don't know.
Where do you want me to start? I mean, that's the question. Like, you want me to start with nobody getting in? You want me to start with, the nut job Curt Schilling? Like, where are we going here, boys?
Start with nobody getting in, because I think that's pretty profound.
So you know what? On the whole, I don't hate it. And here's why. The Hall of Fame is for the Hall of Fame. It's not the Hall of Very Good. And I think in recent years in baseball, there's been a trend of guys getting in who should not be in. Sorry, Karski. Mike Mussina, not a Hall of Famer.
I get it, though.
Tim Raines, Edgar Martinez, Larry Walker last year. This is the Hall of Fame. This is not the Hall of Very Good. So I don't mind baseball having a year where guys don't get in. Now, the problem is there's a real backlog on the ballot, of guys that no doubt to me are Hall of Famers. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens. Yes, they were the poster children of the steroid era. They should be in. Bud Selig, the commissioner who oversaw all of that, is in. Guys who were juicing. Come on. Jeff Bagwell had biceps the size of a small European nation. You're telling me that he wasn't juicing? Pud Rodriguez, he wasn't juicing. I love Ken Griffey Jr. You're telling me that he wasn't juicing? All of those guys were juicing. We can't determine who was juicing and who wasn't. So I think we've just gone too far down this road where we're keeping Bonds and Clemens out. And the problem is a year from now, we could seriously be looking at a Hall of Fame where Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens don't get in, yet Larry Walker and Harold Baines and Mike Mussina are. And what are we doing?
Well, and I'm just looking at this list of people who have gotten inducted in the last couple of years. So last year you had Jeter. The year before that you had Rivera, Chipper Jones. The year before that, Jim Tomei. So a lot of these guys are Griffey Jr.'s on here, Mike Piazza. A lot of these guys are holding that place, but the vast majority of the people of the last 6 or 7 years are, to your point, Matt, Hall of Very Good guys almost.
Well, some of the guys that you just named there, I've got no problem. Jeter, obviously, Hall of Famer. Rivera, Hall of Famer. Roy Halladay, to me, Hall of Famer. Best pitcher in the American League, best pitcher in the National League. Won Cy Youngs, had a perfect game. And, in the playoffs, he and Don Larson are the only ones to do that. Was the best pitcher in baseball for a stretch there. yes, to me, that's a Hall of Famer. I mean, there have been a few guys, and I named them, Walker, Edgar Martinez. I was anti-Edgar, but you want to let Edgar in, that's fine. Mussina, I was really against Mussina. I mean, Nick, I don't know if you want to push back on that, Mr. Yankee over there.
No, I kind of get where people were coming from when they said, he shouldn't be in. Like, I truly, genuinely understood that.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, if we want to go, if I had a ballot, this is how I would do it. And this is how, Dan Shaughnessy here in Boston has done it in the last few years. And he's actually gotten a lot of crap for it. He's basically only voted for one or two guys every single year. And his point is the writers have lost the charge. The charge is to vote for the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Very Good. And there are a lot of writers who are saying we need more, we need more votes. There are more than 10 Hall of Famers on this ballot. No, there aren't. Like, even though I think there's a tremendous backlog on the ballot with steroid guys who aren't being let in Bonds and Clemens, most notably at the top, you still can't tell me that there are 10 Hall of Famers on that ballot. So if we want to start talking about the Mike Mussinas of the world, Edgar Martinez, you know what? That's fine. If a few of those guys get in, that's fine. But it's going to look really bad in the end if Bonds and Clemens and guys like that are out and Mike Mussina and Edgar Martinez are in. That's a problem. That's not a Hall of Fame. That's just like what is it? A popularity contest? I don't even know what it is. The credibility of the Hall of Fame, to me here is at stake. And I know the steroid era makes it extremely difficult on the writers. Every writer I've ever talked to who has a ballot, and I've had, the real pleasure of talking to a number, I know how seriously they take it. I mean, they really take it seriously. Yeah. So, we're at a point where, we're reaching a reckoning here. Bonds and Clemens are entering their final years on the ballot next year. If they don't get let in, to me, the Hall of Fame is damaged forever. I mean, it's just, you can't bounce back from that. You can't, you're going to go to Cooperstown and you'll be like, this place isn't as legitimate as it used to be because the best two players of that era, or at least on the short list, aren't here. And that's not good.
We'll get to the sorry, Zensky.
No,
we'll get to the shilling shenanigans in just a few, but you mentioned it's going to be Bonds and Clemens' final year on the ballot. Schilling, it's going to be potentially his final year on the ballot if he, with all the chaos with him. But and then you've got guys like A-Rod and David Ortiz who are going to be coming into the picture next year. Could we very well see nobody get in to the Hall of Fame again for a second consecutive year, because Bonds and Clemens have to make that really big jump. And I feel like the reason why somebody like Larry Walker was able to make that really big jump in his final year was because he was one of the good guys. In the eyes of the beholder, Bonds and Clemens are still the bad guys in all of this.
In the eyes of enough writers, in the eyes of 40% of the writers, they're still the bad guys. And listen, I don't like Barry Bonds. I think Barry Bonds is an a-hole. I don't like the guy. I don't like that he broke Hank Aaron's record in the way that he did it. He's also probably one of the top 5 greatest hitters in the history of the game. Yeah. So I can't keep him out of the Hall of Fame because he was roiding when half the other guys in his era were roiding. I don't like the way he did it. I don't like the guy. I'm from Boston. You think I like Roger Clemens? This guy had, a crappy mid-90s when he was going into the twilight of his career. Dan Duquette was right about that. Goes up to Toronto, takes a needle in his ass, and all of a sudden is, an elite pitcher in baseball for the next 10 years. You think I like that? No, I don't. I don't like Roger Clemens. I don't like Barry Bonds. They need to be in the Hall of Fame. And to your point, Karski, there is a reckoning coming for the writers and for the Baseball Hall of Fame next year, because it is Bonds and Clemens' final year on the ballot, and it's A-Rod and David Ortiz's first year on the ballot. And I have talked, and I talked with Dan Shaughnessy a few years ago when I told him about this. And Dan, legendary writer from Boston, has covered the Red Sox since the 70s. I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, the guy's a freaking Hall of Famer himself. So I do a show with him every year around holiday time. We fill in, and he's anti-steroid guy. He doesn't want the steroid guys in. I beg him every single year. I'm like, Dan, is this the year you're finally going to vote for Bonds and Clemens? And I told him about this 3 years ago. I said, just to let you know, in 2022, It's Bonds and Clemens' final year on the ballot, and it's Ortiz and A-Rod's first year on the ballot. That's like the moment for the Hall of Fame. And he said, wow, that's fascinating, because I'll tell you this, the guys I've polled, and again, he covers Boston. He said, the guys I've polled, I'm telling you, David Ortiz is getting in on his first ballot. He's getting in. Yeah. And Rob Manfred came to Boston when David Ortiz retired. And the reason writers would keep Ortiz out of the Hall of Fame is not even the DH thing anymore, because Edgar Martinez is in. It's because Ortiz popped up on that 2003 list. That list of players who, before they were actually testing for steroids, they tested everybody. It was supposed to be anonymous. It was supposed to be the, hey, by the way, we found out that you're doing this, so got it out because, next year it's going to be bad news. Ortiz popped up on that list, and the New York Times reported in 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. So Ortiz ended up on that list, and that's why he's always been linked as a steroid guy. Well, if he gets in, and he was on that list, but you keep Bonds and Clemens out, and if A-Rod gets in after the biogenesis scandal, and he got suspended, twice, right? A-Rod got suspended twice. Yeah. And if he gets in because he's rehabilitated his image and he's like Mr. Nice Guy and he's running around with J-Lo, dropping the ball on New Year's Eve, and he's doing Shark Tank and Good Morning America, if he gets in because he's rehabilitated his image as this, lovable, cartoon character on television, if you let those two guys in and you keep Bonds and Clemens out, oh my God. I mean, really, it's just it. And I'm telling you, it could happen. It could legitimately happen. So I'm not concerned about nobody getting in next year. That's fine, because maybe Ortiz and A-Rod will get in eventually. They'll have 9 more years at it. But if one or two of those guys gets in and one or two of Bonds or Clemens does not get in, holy crap. I mean, it'll ruin the Hall of Fame forever. I mean, you'll never be able to look at it legitimately. That is my serious concern.
Well, and I agree with you there, Matt, because it's almost one of those untouchable things. You go to Cooperstown, you walk those halls, you see those plaques of the embossed faces of these legends, and that's exactly what they are. They're legends, and so for something that is so prestigious to just be on the precipice of being almost tainted is it's a little mind-boggling. But this actually, if this is such an integral time for the future of the Hall of Fame, this sounds like a job for the MLB commissioner. And so, Matt, you've already done your due diligence on this show of giving us your platform of why Cooperstown is in such peril right now, but we want to turn it over to you because you so graciously gave us your platform as a future MLB commissioner last time.
Yes, thank you.
What else has been marinating in your head as we go into the 2021 season, and what is your viewpoint now of baseball with this COVID era baseball? Are they going to start spring training as normal? Is it going to be still weird to start out? What is your POV on everything, and what's your pitch for the future MLB commissioner?
I'm interested to see if they do start spring training on time. I mean, that's beyond my pay grade, even as an MLB commissioner. That's going to be up to the county officials out in Maricopa County. We're all very familiar with Maricopa County. If you watch CNN for 4 days in November, we all know everything about Maricopa County. But it sounds like, there might be some issues there with starting, spring training on time out in Arizona, which is where more than half of the teams train. It's going to be interesting to see, if they are able to start this season on time and how they do approach different regulations. I mean, they're going to play, do we play a, slightly shortened season? I don't know, maybe not. Do we have, kind of a truncated spring training? I don't know, maybe not. Do we play spring training games? Do we, does it basically just become a camp for pitchers and catchers? I'm actually interested to see if there are ways where we can alter spring training a little bit, so we don't need as many games. I'm sure the players would love that. Spring training is all about the pitchers and catchers. It's all about pitchers building up. They can build up without, more organized team activities. You can have them throw their bullpens. You can have them throw simulated games. I think it's actually an opportunity for baseball maybe to shorten the spring a little bit, which would be good, for the players and for staff and everybody, because there's nothing worse than trust me, when those guys go down there, I mean, it's great. It's February. You're in Florida. You're in Arizona. It's 78 degrees. It's beautiful. 7 weeks later, you're like, get me the out of here. Like, it's just the worst. I mean, really, you're like, get me out of here. They call it, the Red Sox train in Fort Myers, they call it Fort Miserable by the end, because you're just ready to go north. I mean, those guys are ready to, like, yeah, 28-degree, game in Boston opening day. I'll take it, because we just got to get out of here. It's too long. It's too long for the players. So I'd like to see that. In regards to the actual season, I'm just interested to see what becomes of the expanded playoffs, which I actually liked maybe a little bit more than I thought I was going to like. I'm still sort of opposed to that, because I like that it's hard to make the playoffs in baseball. I think baseball gets it right. I think baseball gets the playoffs right. It's one of the few things that baseball still gets right. So I'd like to see, the playoffs not expanded as much as they were last year. And I do like the pitchers hitting in the National League. And it sounds like we're trending towards that, which is good news, I think, for me, for baseball purists out there. I think a lot of people hate the idea of pitchers hitting. I like it, because pitchers hitting speeds up the game, which is the greatest threat to the game. But as commissioner, I'm always going to have a rule proposal for you. So you ready for this?
Okay, let's go.
Yes.
All right, I've got the fix to the AL/NL DH thing, and it's going to save baseball. All right, and this idea, I believe, has been floated by Bud Black, longtime pitching coach, manager in baseball, real baseball guy, and Jason Stark floated it as well, although I didn't read the article because I'm not subscribed to The Athletic because I'm cheap. But I think he said this. Here's what you do. Universal DH, AL and NL. All right, easy enough. However, when you take your starting pitcher out of the game, you lose the designated hitter. And here's what it does. Yes, there we go.
My God, Mr. Commissioner.
It is genius. And here's why. You get the AL thing. You get the big fat DH who's going to go out there, play until he's 45 and hit bombs, which some fans like. I'm not as big a fan of, but, there you go. You get that. And then when you pull the starting pitcher, you have the National League style of game, which speeds up the game because you have to, bunt, you have to sacrifice, that's good. But most importantly, it places a premium on starting pitching, which baseball is struggling with. Blake Snell got pulled in the 6th inning of Game 6 of the World Series when he had 85 pitches. And you know why he got pulled? Because of the numbers, not because of the way he was pitching. He was cruising, he was rolling, he was dominating. But oh no, we got to play some matchups here because it's third time through the order. And, this is what we're going to do. This is the new age of baseball. What happens? Some schlub middle reliever, gets his face kicked in. They lose that game because they pulled Blake Snell way earlier than he ever would have been pulled in the history of baseball. If you lose your DH by pulling that guy, no way Blake Snell gets pulled in that game. No way, no how. He pitches deep into that ball game the way starting pitchers should pitch deep into ball games. Starting pitchers are the stars in baseball. We don't need nameless, faceless middle relievers coming in for Blake Snell. Fans don't want to see that. The Dodgers did it the night before with Kershaw. So if you have this rule, it places a premium on starting pitching. It takes the opener out of the game. Nobody likes the opener. The opener is terrible. We need to eliminate it. This handles that, and it gives the American League and National League style of play. It's a brilliant fix. The commissioner rests his case.
God almighty, McCarthy.
If that's not a platform, then I don't know what is.
I didn't think I'd get turned on here, but here we are. Wow. Rousing.
That's good. So if you ever need a case for McCarthy for baseball commissioner, that is it.
Not only as commissioner, guys, not only that's just one of the many things I'm going to do to save the game. I already laid out to you how we'd increase pace of play, and you can go back and check the previous episode. I already laid that out. But tying this into the Hall of Fame, we will have the McCarthy removing of the plaque ceremony, where I will go into Cooperstown, I will go into the plaque gallery, and I will remove the plaques of the undeserving players who have gotten in. Harold Baines, I'm sure you're a nice guy. This will be a made-for-television event as we ceremoniously take his plaque off the wall and remove it. We can, you can read all the, I don't know, at Hall of Fame induction day, they'd read here are his accolades. He led the American League in RBI this year and that. No, as we remove the plaques, we can read all the statistics as to why he's not as to why he should not be a Hall of Famer as we remove the plaque. The McCarthy removal of the plaque ceremony, the purging of the plaques, one might call it, will be a made-for-television event, and everybody will love it.
I'd pay admission for that.
I would too. And listen, before we wrap up here and let you go, Matt, we would be remiss if we didn't do another rousing edition of you kicking Karski's ass in baseball
yes.
trivia.
Come on,
Here we go.
Really? We really want to do this?
Of
Yes,
course
we do.
Of course we do. I mean, don't you, Matt?
Do I ever? Are
So
you kidding me?
so 2 against 1. So we'll keep it the same rules as last time. And Nick, yes, this is payback for you doing trivia for me the last couple of shows.
God.
But okay, so it's going to be Red Sox, Yankees, appropriate questions for each of you. If one does not guess the correct answer, the other will have the opportunity to steal. All right, so we'll do best of 5.
Okay.
Nick, first question to you. Who did the Yankees face in their first World Series?
I am going to say I should know. No, wait. Are we talking about the Yankees? Are we talking about the Highlanders? Are we which team are we talking about here?
The year was 1921.
1921. God, I should know this.
Matt looks ready to pounce.
Yeah, he's ready to go. He's ready to go. Was it I know this isn't right. I'm just going to wing it. Was it Cincinnati?
Incorrect. Matt, would you wish to steal?
I will wish to steal. The thing is, I don't know the answer to this, so I just have to take a guess as to what team would have been around back then, what team would have been good. Let's go with the New York Baseball Giants.
Damn, you're good.
Oh my! Are you kidding me? That's
No.
a total guess.
The much anticipated 1921 World Series featured John McGraw's New York Giants, dedicated practitioners of the dead ball era's inside game, and the crosstown rival New York Yankees.
Of course it did. Of course it did. I thought about
That's
it. but
crazy.
I'm like, no,
Upstart
maybe
Yankees.
not. I mean, it would seem like it would be too. Oh my God, I hate everything.
All right. So 1-0 Matt. So Matt, first Red Sox question to you. Who is the first Red Sox pitcher with more than 300 strikeouts in a season?
Boy, this is tough. This is tough because you have to think, what would the strikeout numbers have been back in the day? I mean, I guess you have to go with Cy Young.
Incorrect. Nick, wish to steal.
Do I wish to steal? Sure. Am I going to get it right? No. It's not Pedro, is it? It can't be Pedro.
It is Pedro.
Whoa!
In 1999, Pedro Martinez posted a 23-4 record with a 2.07 ERA and 313 strikeouts, earning the pitching triple crown.
That is remarkable that it took that long, because I would have guessed that Clemens did it at some point in there, and then, Cy Young, you have to guess that he would have done it at
Yeah.
some point.
No, Matt, I think that is a valid guess. Valid guess.
Good guess there, Karski.
Thank you.
1999. I mean, probably the best pitching season any of us have seen, at least in our age, generation.
It was incredible.
All right. Nick, so we're tied at 1. Next Yankees question to you. Which Yankee pitcher set an American League record with 41 wins in a season?
41 wins in a season. Who the would have done that in 19... God.
This is
almighty.
going back a ways.
Yeah,
This
no
is a tough
kidding.
one.
This is going back to like 1904.
You're exactly right, actually.
Wait, the year was 1904?
1904.
Oh, come on. I have no idea. But can you give me some credit for that, please?
We'll give you credit for that. Yes, we'll give you half a point for
Thank you.
that.
God almighty, I have no idea.
That's funny.
I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea.
Jack Chesbro.
Jack
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Chesbro.
totally botched that. None of you were going to get
I
that,
wouldn't
feel
have gotten
like.
that.
Yeah. All right.
How
So
Karski pulled 1904 out of his ass is unbelievable.
that is pretty funny. Here, let's do this. Let's stick with 1904. And next question to you, Matt. Which team refused to play against Boston in the 1904 World Series?
That would be the New York Giants.
That is correct. Due to a business rivalry between the two leagues, especially New York, and two personal animosity between the teams, yeah, it was the New York Giants in 1904.
Yeah, John McGraw was a
Yes.
dink about it.
Fair enough. All right, so it is 2 to 1.5.
Hell yeah.
Matt. All right. Nick, next Yankee, or is this Matt now?
No, it's my
this is
turn.
Nick, yeah. All right, Nick, which Yankee outfielder pitched for his team in a doubleheader in 1968? Which Yankee outfielder pitched for his team in a doubleheader in 1968?
Yeah. He was done playing by then. God, this is a tough one. I'm gonna give myself a time limit of 5 more seconds. It wasn't. There's no way. It's not Bobby Mercer.
Incorrect. McCarthy, over to you.
All right, so my late 60s Yankees is not knowledge is not all that great, but it's just the obvious one, and it's probably not right. And actually, I don't even know if he would have been retired by this point, but hey, Mickey Mantle, big player in the 60s for the Yankees.
Incorrect. It is Rocky Colavito.
Rocky Colavito. No kidding. Would not have got that one.
Yeah, that was another tough one. All right, so it is still 2 to 1.5, Matt. So next question to you. This is a game point for Matt McCarthy. Who was the first Red Sox second baseman to win a Silver Slugger award?
First Red Sox second baseman to win a Silver Slugger award. Ooh, the question is, did this award exist back in the day? Oh, that's tough. That's really tough because I can think of, maybe an option in the 70s, but would the Silver Slugger have existed in the 40s and 50s? Ooh, uh-oh. No, don't give me any reactions. I can't see. All right, I'm just going to say it's probably, if the award existed, he would have won one. So it would be Bobby Doerr.
Incorrect.
Damn it. The award probably didn't exist.
Karski, over to you.
I'm trying to remember who the hell the second baseman was that played in the 70s for you guys. Damn it. This is incredibly annoying. My 70s knowledge of Boston sports is terrible.
It's as bad as my late 60s knowledge of the Yankees.
As soon as you tell me who you think it was McCarthy in the 70s, I might be able to drop the name. Who were you thinking?
Is it Butch Hobson?
It is not.
No, who was it? What's the answer?
Remy?
Dustin Pedroia.
Really?
Okay. Wow.
2008.
When did the Silver Slugger come into existence? That's the real question.
It had to have been
I don't know.
I wonder if it was like in the mid 80s or something like that.
Right. Because I feel like Doerr would have won one, and Butch Hobson hit, I think, like 30 home runs maybe in 75. So,
man,
yeah.
you guys are struggling.
These are
this
also
round.
really difficult questions, Zensky.
I'm sorry. Yes, they are. So here, we got 4 minutes left on the call. So let's see if we can get a winner
See if we can find
in
a winner.
here. All right, Nick, next question to you. Which Yankees pitcher was nicknamed the chairman of the board?
Whitey Ford.
Bing, bing, bing. So
2.5 to 2. McCarthy.
Pressure's building.
It is building. All right, let's see.
Silver Slugger, by the way, first awarded in 1980.
Jesus.
Okay. McCarthy, for the win, over to you. Who was the first player in MLB history to win the Most Valuable Player, Silver Slugger, Gold Glove, batting title, and World Series in the same season?
Can you repeat the question?
Who was the first player in MLB history to win the MVP, Silver Slugger, Gold Glove, batting title, and World Series in the same season?
Oh, man. Wow. That is tough. That is really tough. Silver Slugger, batting title, MVP. Dude, I don't know.
Oh, man.
I don't know. Who is it?
Well, we got to give Karski the chance to steal and for the win here.
Pedroia again.
Incorrect. Mookie.
18.
2018, yes.
Wow. I didn't know that stat. That's amazing.
So does that mean I won?
No, because nobody's reached 3 yet, technically.
Oh my God.
All right, hold on. All right, so we got 2.5 minutes. Let's see, Nick, this is for the win. How many World Series did Don Mattingly win as a player with the Yankees?
0.
There you go.
Even I know that.
It's like the easiest question ever. Don Mattingly's the only Yankee to ever be a loser.
Oh, boy.
Ian Mussina, of course.
Well, Nick takes it by a whopping half point.
But I started. It's got to be like the bottom of the ninth. He's got to get a chance here. Jesus, Sensky.
Oh, I should. Yeah, all right. In the 2 minutes left, another question over to Mr. McCarthy here. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Whose mad dash resulted in the heavily favored Boston Red Sox losing
Enos
in
Slaughter.
Correct.
I think we call this a tie.
I think we
Let's
got to
call
call
it
it
a tie. That works for me. Wow, you guys are uncanny.
Hey,
That was
Also
good,
entertaining.
McCarthy, you're the best. Make sure you follow McCarthy at Matt McCarthy 98.5 on Twitter, 98.5 the sports subs. McTakey, you're the best, dude.
Matt,
Guys,
thanks for being
love
on,
being
bud.
on.
We
Zensky,
appreciate it.
stay classy, dude.
You guys stay classy, my friends.
Peace.
Peace.